Hey, how's it going, Amy? Fantastic. I am so excited to be on this journey of a book club and connecting over books. And the one that we're doing that we just did is Start With Why by Simon Sinek. All right. I think I just want to start with, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give this? 10 is like I have to reread this a million times. 1 is like, really wish I didn't put any time into it. What would you rate this book?
I'm probably definitely at like a 9 or 10, just because I'm already on my second time and like catching things again that I didn't catch the first time. And so I think it like, because I do Audible, and so I've ordered it
Mm.
for the book copy because I do think I need to go through and highlight some stuff to be able to go back to.
I love that you are, pooling all the resources. You're like, okay, this is definitely something I'm going to come back to. So I need to have the paper book so I can quick access things. I love it. Tell me a little bit about you.
So I am a working full-time job in foster care, and then I watch my grandkids almost all the time, and then I do Mary Kay as well.
How
And
many
it's
grands do you have?
companies I have. How many do I have? I have one, two, three, four, five. Five grandkids.
I guess
Three
you
boys
counted
and
them
two
all.
girls.
Aw, that's fantastic. And you get all 5 nearly every day?
No, I have the
Oh,
two youngest nearly every day.
okay. That's a lot.
Yes,
I love it. This is so fun to be able to do this with you. I love reading. I
that's
love
so funny.
knowledge. Knowledge is powerful. I just love it. I love this book. I would give this book a 10. I am going to reread it and reread it and reread it. I definitely think that when you read it in different stages of life, you pull different meanings. This is one of those books that it's going to mean something different in a different setting or a different part of your journey or goal. So I love that. We read this book in 10 days, but you're rereading it already. So do you feel like 10 days was too fast for a book like this?
It goes too fast. I think just when you're listening to things, like you're always multitasking. And so there was a lot like that I probably didn't catch the first time. And so just rereading it, chapter two, I might have been busy doing something, but chapter three had my full attention. And now it might be vice versa, to where I am catching different things.
What what tips do you have for somebody who is doing an audible version of a book, but they really need to pull how to not miss?
I would say just make the time for it, because a lot, like, I have the ability to listen to Audible while I'm at my day job. So it's always in my ear unless I'm on the phone. So I think this is definitely one of those books that you want to take the time to have your peace and quiet and absorb.
Do you think the second time around or third time around it makes you absorb it better?
I do. I do think like it's kind of with everything. The more you listen, the more you read, the more you're going to absorb something different. So I am excited
Mhm.
to like, I feel like it's a book that I'm going to go through and highlight and have flags on all these different things that I want to go back to. It's going to be on the shelf with flags everywhere.
And this second time that you're listening to it, what's something that you're doing differently this time than you did the first time you listened to it?
So the first time I listened to it, I was just listening, and now this time I am actually like making notes in my notes section of my phone, to where then I can title that this book and then just have those notes kind of a quick access on my phone.
Love that. I think maybe your notes on your phone too will be able to pull things. I remember a speaker saying that they would often have topics that they wanted to be able to make a speech about or incorporate into speeches that they were doing. And so they would flag certain words. And so when they would go back in their notes, they could pull those words and then they
Yeah,
would be able to pull
that makes
that
sense.
up.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have some stats. For the average author, it's about 2 years of life experience into a book. Some worth more, some worth less, but each author is taking 2 years of life experience. Basically, what that means is in the 10 days of us reading this book, you and I accumulated 2 years of life experience if we can adopt and process and execute the things that we've learned in this book. Isn't that
Well, and
crazy?
I went back on Audible. It is crazy. But on Audible, they have a 15th anniversary edition. So that's what I was listening to. So he was like throwing in some different blurbs from, like, he's
Ooh.
updated some of the stuff. Yeah.
So you got more than 2 years for sure.
Yes.
I also learned because of the mission of reading in 10 days, I wanted to learn to read faster. And so I did chat GPT, like, how do I read faster? And it gave me 27 steps. And I was like, okay, let's pick one. And they narrowed it down to three that I could pick one. And all right, here's one. If you use your finger and you read with your finger, you'll read faster. And I thought, how elementary. But what it is your brain wants to translate what it's read. So if you read something, then your eyes read it, and then your audible voice in your brain reads it. Your voice in your brain reads it. And so
Oh,
that's why it's slower to get through. And if you're a visual person, which I am, it'll do a third layer of your brain seeing what is being said. So it takes it
well,
that much
I'm
longer.
about to go to the store
So,
and get one
but
of
if
those
you use your finger
little
and you
fingertip things.
right? I love it. But
Supplies
if you
are
use
out.
your finger and just go through exactly, then your eyes can read it and it's super great. So that was another tip that I got from reading this. Okay. So yeah, let's just shoot out notes, things that were takeaways that we want to share with each other.
I wanna like, one thing that I have down here was, like, in chapter 2 where he said, "Manipulations lead to transactions, not loyalty." That
Uh,
really stuck out to me. The whole theory of
yeah.
how much, we always look for the greatest deal, but that's not how you get the loyalty of somebody coming back to you.
Whole transactional thing, the carrots and sticks was fascinating. And it really made me sit back and look. So it's carrots and sticks is chapter 2, and it talks about the different, if most companies don't really know why their customers are their customers or why their employees are their employees, then how do they know how to attract more employees and encourage loyalty among those they already have? So why are your customers your customers? And how are you obtaining them? And so he broke it down to manipulation versus inspiration, price, promotion. So these are tools that you pull with price, promotions, fear, aspirations, peer pressure, novelty or innovation, being the first. And then I just thought that was so that made me like go through and see all the retail stores and how are they getting people in. And so then I was labeling them
Yes,
like, that was a promotion or that was a price thing or so that's they're manipulating me by giving me a deal.
yes.
I thought that was really good. And I wrote new word pejorative. Did you catch that word?
I don't remember that at
Expressing
all.
contempt or disapproval. Pejorative can also the synonym is insulting, derogatory, malicious, and demeaning. I haven't used it yet, but
Oh,
that's a good word.
yeah, I
He says
also
there are only
that
two
was
ways to implement.
yeah, that was one the carrots and the sticks was one of my favorite chapters. Chapter 2 was a good one.
Is really fascinating. And it's kind of fascinating too to see how you connect with other people. Like, what do you lean toward when you're connecting with someone? So, not just sales, like connection. He says there's two
Right.
ways to influence human behavior. You can manipulate it or inspire it. And so that's really what all of this comes from, the price and promotions and fear. And fears employed are incidental. Deeply seated in our biological drive to survive, that emotion cannot be quickly wiped away with facts and figures, meaning people will lean into fear no matter what truth you try to tell them. So, unless you can operate out of emotion, then you're not going to get people out of fear. Toward aspirations, I love the aspirations. I was like, oh, that's me. Like, there's all these notes around aspirations.
Okay.
The aspiration to aspire. Wouldn't it be great if, like, that's how I live my life every day. Yeah, prizes for work is aspirational and promotion marketing is aspirational. Yeah. He said all too often, it's not the systems that fail, but the ability to maintain them. He said, I've implemented a lot of systems or practices over the years to help me achieve the success to which I aspire, only to find myself back to my old habits 2 weeks later. I aspire for a system that will help me avoid implementing systems to meet all my aspirations, but I probably wouldn't be able to follow it for very long. I
Yeah,
thought
I
that
think
was
that's
really good.
everybody. Like, that's
What
everybody's
was
hope
it
right there
about?
to where
Yeah.
everybody wants to have these systems that fix everything and make everything easy, but go back to the old way no matter how many different ways we try.
We got our default, so we just have to keep growing, right? In our innovation. I thought that was really fun. We just had a Raising Cane's open here in Wichita, Kansas, and there was people waiting 2 hours for chicken. Those are innovative followers. They want the thing that is new and flashy and big and right. Those are the innovators.
And I'm over here like, you can buy the Raising Cane sauce in the grocery store.
You do not fall under innovation. That's really good. What was it? What about this chapter was transforming for you?
I think it was eye-opening as to how you should work a business, like, and how you should interact with your customers and how they view things. Made me think a lot about, like, my interactions with different people that are trying to sell me stuff. Like today, I just got one from the furniture store. We're looking for new furniture. Of course, she sent me a text. Hey, we're having a VIP sale on Friday for friends and family. I go, yeah, is it gonna give me a cheaper price? She's like, well, I don't know. Then why do I want to come to your VIP sale? Like, you're just making it sound good. Like, I don't know. I'd rather
So
go
what?
when it's slow and
Which
get
one
your
does
full
that?
attention.
Yeah. So the good point. So which one do you think that falls under? Where would you think that plays under? Because it's not price. And you literally told her, how can I get this woman in? Focus on price. That's how I can get this woman in. So you told her the way to market to you. But which one do you think she was selling you with?
Definitely the promotion. 'Cause,
Yeah.
yeah, it was like, friends and family, would you want to be here morning? And I'm like, no, I'll wait for on my own free will when.
Yeah. What's something for you as a leader? Like when you look through this, what lens does it change for you as a leader in building your business and your efforts and how you communicate?
I think this chapter just kind of really ties with some of the other chapters that makes you think about this is just kind of like the first building block as to thinking about what your customers want and how they're going to be loyal. And then as we go on, talking about trust and stuff, I'm like, I think there is, with furniture, even like with the furniture, there's so many furniture stores to choose from and different sales people. Like, what is she going to do to, I mean, she stole us from somebody else at the furniture store because she gave us different options. Like, so I think it's just a matter of everything, like knowing your customers and knowing what's going to make them happy and them feel special.
Yeah. Which takes time and it can't really be automated at that point.
Yeah. 'Cause
Yeah.
I know every
That's good.
customer that's on her
All right.
profile, she sent that to,
Right. Yeah.
am I really a friends and family or?
Am I really a VIP? I don't know about that. Knowing you have a loyal customer and employee base not only reduces costs, it provides massive peace of mind. Like loyal friends, you know your customer and employees will be there for you when you need them the most. It's the feeling of we're in this together, shared between customer and company, voter and candidate, boss and employee that defines great leaders. I thought that was so good. Yeah. And then on page 34, you touched on this. It was all a series of transactional decisions, effective but at a high cost. Few were working for the good of the whole. Why would they? There was no reason given to do so. There was no cause or belief beyond instant gratification. So it wasn't the mission that everybody was
Right.
collectively working toward. It was every man for himself. What do I need? What's going to give me what I need in this moment? So if I can as a someone offering something, if I can give you something that will give you instant gratification, then you'll get it. But it doesn't mean you're going to stay loyal to me. You're just going to get it in that moment or
Right.
loyal to the. So then I wrote at the top of chapter 3, the golden circle, learn to inspire rather than manipulate in order to motivate. There are few leaders who choose to inspire rather than manipulate or in order to motivate. I always rewrite the things that I want to make sure that I pay attention to. So he does the why, how, what. And I don't know anybody that has explained the importance of why more thoroughly than Simon Sinek. Do you?
No, I think like him breaking it down to full, because everybody says find your why, but they don't explain the difference between the what and the how and the why. And then I liked how he always gave examples, like the ads, the different examples that he gave of marketing from your what to marketing to your why. Like that was a big, like not a trigger, but like a light bulb moment, I guess, as to thinking about the words you're using, as to how are you coming across?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Because he talks a lot about that too. I mean, you could be, and it was toward the end, you could be the most inspired, but if you can't communicate it, it doesn't matter. Nobody can catch what you're putting down. It's literally, it all depends on you. But if you want to rally, you've got to learn to communicate the why as well. And so the importance of that. Yeah, I have so many notes. So what's another thing that you caught?
For that, like, that area on, like, the golden circle, I said, like, the what is your purpose? What's your cause? And then the why should anyone care? And then the what was why we do what we do, kind of just being able to break it down. And I think, like, if we go through everything and just try to, visualize that bullseye and see where things land for us, it might help us find the why and be able to reframe everything. But then I put, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And that was a good, like, super highlight for me.
Yeah, yeah, that's so vital and freeing, I think. Like, I think it's freeing. I think because then you find your people too. So you find the people that
Okay.
are in alignment with your way of thinking that way as well. And so it makes what you do more energized, I think, as opposed to performance based. I mean, yes, you want to offer good service, but to be able to focus on the ultimate mission, then the service doesn't have to be like beyond human capability, right? Like, because
Right.
everybody's going to want to be in on it.
Once you find,
And he said that
yeah,
about a
like
hundred
you
times.
said, like, if you find the people that have the same mission or some, me in foster care, well, I can find a circle of people who are foster care is important, that then, it changes kind of everything. Or, people that are save the cat. Like, you find
Mhm.
those people that you all have some link in common, and it's going to make them be that loyal to you no matter the manipulation.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And you spur each other on too. He does talk about Apple a lot. And I did think it was interesting that Apple didn't invent the MP3, nor did they invent the technology that became the iPod, yet they're credited with transforming music player was actually in the industry. I just thought, like, then he said creative technology, which I feel like I've heard of creative technology, but yeah, nobody even, it's like Kleenex. Nobody says, I'm going to go get a generic tissue. They say, I need a Kleenex. And I think that's the same thing. Like, even if my MP3 is, XYZ brand, I'm going to say, I'm listening to my iPod.
Right.
Everybody just, or what is it? Podcasts. We listen to podcasts. Even I don't have Apple, so I don't listen to podcasts. I listen to Castbox, but I still say I heard that on a podcast. And actually, podcast iPod actually came from the name iPod. The guy, the Black Eyed Peas. So I podcast or iPod, the pod word came from the lead guy in Black Eyed Peas, but Apple always gets the credit for it.
Yeah, Apple
I
gets
wonder if he
everything.
ran creative technology. Isn't that crazy? But again, because it's the why, because people can jump on the why. And so they'll jump on the brand that's associated with that why. Yeah, he said about 100 times, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. I love that he also said Apple sells lifestyle, not products. So their emphasis in everything is lifestyle. And I remember from the 80s, was it the 80s or maybe it was the 90s, maybe it was the 2000s. I don't know. I'm too old to know what decade it was, but there was a decade where they did, he says it in here, where they did the Microsoft guy and the Apple guy. And it was cleanly done because it wasn't discrediting directly Microsoft, but it was like, well, the cool people use Apple,
Right.
you know? So that was, I remember it. Do you remember him?
I don't think so. I don't think I remembered, but I
I
mean,
love
it
too that
oh,
it says they're, nope, go ahead.
kind of, the lifestyle, when you think back, even just phones, you went from the flip, I don't even know, the flip phone, the Nokia, BlackBerry, the Razor, to where the kid has to have it. The kid, mom, I have to have this. I have to have this. Just
Oh,
a
yes,
show of lifestyle, a show of it's any better than the
exactly.
next. Like,
Yep. Or do you really need it? I don't know. I just
yeah,
know that I'm supposed to need it. So I'm going to go get it. It says they're different and everyone knows it. They start with why in everything they do. So they're different and everyone knows it. So they don't have to convince anyone of their value, is what I wrote. I thought that was. If you have to work so hard to convince them that what you have is valuable, they may not be your people. And that has to be okay.
yes, and that ties back to something that I put down. Like, I don't even know what chapter it was in, but how Edison said, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that did not work. And so if you're finding 10,000 people that are not your people, to refer it kind of back to that thought process.
That's really good. Yeah. Why does the product exist and why does someone want it? It's the lifestyle that comes first. Like he talks about Harley Davidson. He talks about a lot of companies. Yeah. And I noted when I can't afford a Harley and buy the lesser one, I know it's lesser. The tangible features are simple to help direct the choice of product that best fits our needs. Winning hearts, however, takes more work. So if I want to buy a Harley, I know Harley is the winning company. If I can't afford it, I'm going to know I'm getting lesser. I'm settling.
Yes,
I thought
I
that
have a
was
problem
wild.
with that.
Do you have a problem with that?
In some
Expound on
things,
that.
I don't know. One of the last things you said was like, I'm like in my head, I'm like, man, you sound like my husband. Do I really need it, or do I just think I have to have it? I need it. Something lower is not going to work for me,
So you really buy
but only
into
in
the
certain things.
brand, which you talked about. Okay.
In certain things, yes. My clothes, I buy a lot of clothes off of Temu because clothes are not important to me. But if you go with something that's important to me, then I want to make sure it's a specific thing. I think that kind
That
of
you've
ties in
got
with
the company
everything
that,
to where you have to find what's important to that person and what they're willing to prioritize versus not prioritize.
right, finding your people and not needing it to be everybody. And that's where niche comes in. And there's a lot of talk about niche lately. And the reason why there's so much talk about niche right now in the business world is because most things are saturated. It's impossible not to find a field that's not saturated. But also it's in direct competition with AI. And there's only so much AI can do. They can't create an actual niche. And so when you can create a niche, when you can create a brand, when you can, like I was just listening to this cast box, not podcast, this cast box of this guy who they were talking about niches and they use this Fit Founder. This guy, he's called Fit Founder, and he found a very specific niche so that he could find his people. And when you can find your people, it makes everything you offer so much easier, right? Like, because your loyalty, the trust is there, all these things are bought in because collectively you have a mission together as opposed to I just want to get a product in your hand that may fill a need. Everybody needs to be able to fill a need, but how can you do it effectively? So that speaks into that. That's really good. He says companies that fail to communicate a sense of why force us to make decisions with only empirical evidence. This is why those decisions take more time, feel difficult, or leave us uncertain. They definitely create buyer's remorse. Under these conditions, manipulative strategies that exploit our desires, fears, doubts, and fantasies work very well. We're forced to make these less than inspiring decisions for one simple reason. Companies don't offer us anything else besides the facts and figures, features and benefits upon which to base our decisions. Companies don't tell us why. I think that's where buyer's remorse can come in. Like you can be so maybe you buy it once but you don't go back.
Trust your gut.
That's good. Yeah, I'm just trying to dig into maybe some other high points.
My next was like chapter 6. I put a bunch from chapter 6.
What do you got from chapter 6? The emergence of trust. Mud rolls down a hill. I love
Yes.
that.
I put like in cap, trust is not a checklist. It's a feeling, not an experience. So stop trying to be in a rush to check the check boxes and you think it'll all happen and like actually feel with the person and see what they need. So stop trying to rush them out the door.
That's really good. Or rush the sale or rush the transaction. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really, really good.
And then let's see,
When what
trust
you achieve is
begins
no longer
by
tied to why. Yeah, go ahead.
I have let's see. That the trust begins by having a sense that the other person is driven by the things other than their own self gain, which I think is huge for all, stop trying to sell me this for your own personal gain when maybe this is what I really need.
Yeah. And that's where paying attention to who we're with and listening is key because we can't help them. We can't solve a problem. We can't service a need if we don't really actually know what that need is. So then we've got to resort to these other things like I've got a great price or here's the promotion. You're the VIP. So you got to show up so I can woo you and those kinds of efforts because Yeah, that's really, really good.
Yeah. About your why, but then and turn around and prove it by what you're doing. So don't just say
Mm,
it, but, show that you're truly behind that why also instead of it just being empty words.
good. That's really good that you bought into it, which I think builds credibility as well and trust. He says that's what a why does when it's clearly understood. It attracts people who believe the same thing, which we talked about, which I think too kind of lays into if you were raised in a certain lifestyle, but it really isn't you and it really doesn't align with your core to be able to shift your lifestyle to something that is more in line with you. So anything that promotes this, new desire of life is really going to be easy for you to transition into when you see it. Right. So that
Yeah.
makes the service that somebody might be offering easier for people to be, when they look at it and they say, oh, that is absolutely that. I feel that. I feel in line with that. Yeah. You said trust your gut earlier. That's what I'm thinking. Show off your culture, and the ones who belong will want to be a part of the mission. I also like where he says cult. Oh, he doesn't say that. It's in this other book I'm reading, but he says cult is short for culture. And so I was like, you know what I'm talking about? The other book. I thought, oh my gosh, that's so true.
Yeah. But then to go along with culture, I put down the goal is to work in a culture that believes what you believe. And I feel like that's true, like
Hmm.
in all facets, really, because if you're in a church that doesn't really believe what you believe, you want to find a new church. If you're in the corporate
Yeah.
world and it's not really holding your belief, you want to find another place to be. So I think
Yeah.
that can really relate to anywhere.
Well, and even in marriage, like if a husband and wife, they don't really have the same belief system, it makes marriage really, really hard to move forward when, in comparison, you have two people that have the same drive and same belief system, then all the decisions become easy because you're not in conflict with another part of you. We all have what all great leaders have in common is the ability to find good fits to join their organization. When employees belong, they will guarantee your success and they won't be working hard and looking for innovative solutions for you. They'll be doing it for themselves. I know people always think, what's in it for me? What's in it for me? And so when you can be a what's in it for me, as well as promoting this movement of something you really believe in, I think that is where sweet spot becomes just you can't even imagine the success that comes with that. You can't plan out that kind of success because the momentum will be so huge.
I put leading is not the same thing as being the leader. Those who follow trust you because you have their best interest at heart. They're going to work harder working for something bigger than themselves when they trust you. Yeah. Yes, the situations where you don't feel that versus where you do feel that. And it's like a culture
Yeah.
shock because you do want to be in the same culture that has the same beliefs as you do.
Yeah. It is amazing how if you're in a place where you don't feel like you are valued, only the thing that's going to get your boss what they want is the only valuable thing. It's amazing how quick burnout can happen. You could love your job and love what you do. But if your authority or the whole core of the company that you're doing it for is not in alignment with your vision and your heart, then burnout comes so fast, don't you think?
Yeah, it's funny you said vision because in my head I was thinking, yeah, if the mission statement doesn't align with what I'm feeling, or if we're not doing what the true mission statement is, it's like, well,
Mhm.
who's held accountable to get us back to what the vision is?
Well, and that goes back to what you were talking about of as a leader, you are the epitome of the vision. If you're not, then there's misalignment somewhere. And how do we fix that? Or how do we
Yeah.
what do we do with that? What do we do with that? What do we do with that? What advice do you have, Amy?
I think you need a system recheck, I guess. Like, I don't know, I think then as a leader you probably need to constantly be going back to your vision or mission statement or whatever it is that you have that's your sweet spot and making sure that you're aligning with that. If that's still your why, or if you've lost your why and maybe your why is different now and you need to replan the whole thing, or else you just got off track and need to figure out how to make your way back. But then you have to get that why back out to everybody who realized that your why was off track. So I
Yeah.
think there needs to be some sort of checks and balances to get yourself,
Have you ever
make sure
found
you're
your
still aligned.
Yeah, have you ever found yourself in a place that you were like you had a mission and you had a vision and then somehow you got off course and missed them, like found that you weren't where you said you wanted to be because you weren't the epitome of the vision, you weren't the physical action of the vision? Have you ever found yourself in a place like that?
I think if you look at life, probably a lot of people's life, the forks that come in the road, you have to figure out, did I get myself here? Or
Mm,
what circuit, did I lose my true self along the way to get to where my why became somebody else's why? And what do I need to do to get back to who my inner person
mm.
really is?
What tips do you have for that? Like if I find myself out of alignment, what tips do you have to recenter?
I think really knowing who you are, probably journaling, taking the time to focus
Mm.
on, like what your true inner thoughts are, and then finding somebody to reach out. Like, hey, I got off of this. How, if you can't figure it out by yourself, who's your accountability or stability person in your life that can help you find your way back to who you want to be? Maybe not who you were meant to be, but who you want to be.
That's really good. Well, I think they're probably the same. That's really, really good. There was some places we could just skip back to the end where they were talking about businesses that had gotten off course and a lot of it being they didn't have like they had really kind of achieved the big goal and once they got to that big goal they didn't know what to do with themselves after. I know I found myself in that position too, where the vision was clear, the activity was clear, we had the how, we had the what, we had the why. It was all there, but it was this temporal line of why. And once we hit that line, it was like we all of a sudden we lost our identity. We lost all the things that was getting us where we were, where what got us there because the vision, the why wasn't actually big enough. The why was really too small that it can't outlast time, right? But it's almost like if Thomas Edison wanting to create the light bulb, like what did he do with his life after? Do you know? Like his whole calling changed once he reached the goal. And so I really
Yes,
resonated with that because I can see so many times that, when you're in alignment and you're working in alignment and then you've got this crew, this culture working with you, but then you hit the goal and it's like, okay, now what do we do with our lives?
right. And I think I wrote down to personify the values and remind everyone why you're here. So I think that's kind of going off of that. When you lose that, you hit that mark. I think you have to go back and do that. Like remind everybody what the why is and create the next step. Like what's our next big
Yeah.
why?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then let's see, I
That's
put
so good.
the why comes from discovery, not invention. So I know this is something that I struggle with, like my why and my this and my that, and but it says that it's born from your life experiences or upbringing. And so I think learning to be okay with that and how that can mold your why and learning to be okay with that is something that I know I struggle with.
Mm.
I'm assuming a lot of people struggle with that, but knowing that it's okay and it's supposed to be that way.
Like your life experience molds your why?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course it does. I mean, some of the greatest innovators, they came up with the why because of a need that they experienced, and many maybe didn't. So we wouldn't know what a great need that was. So I think it definitely makes it more relatable when there's a story behind the why as well. So I think the I story is so important to be able to say, this is where I was, this is where I'm going, and this is why I'm going there. And I'm looking for people that want to join me in the effort. And I think that's a huge I think too, because we live in a I was listening to Seinfeld. He was getting interviewed, and he said, when I was coming up, no one cared what your job was. They cared if you liked your job. And now no one cares what your job is. They care how much you make. And then you have to keep up with the Joneses, but today's Joneses are nothing like 30 years ago Joneses cuz I got,
No.
several thousand Joneses on my Facebook that I got to keep up with. It's
It's
not my
not.
four neighbors around my house.
I just felt like that was validating for me instead of being ashamed of your upbringing or your life experiences. to use it in your favor, to be your why.
Yeah. Do you have, tell me something else out of the book that you loved. What gets measured gets done. That was huge. Mary Kay Ash would say attract number grows. I love that one. Yeah.
This is the first note I took, which I didn't start taking notes to begin with, but I put, being the smartest is not my job. My job is to lead the cause.
Good. Yeah. He talks about putting people around you that can, you have the why down and somebody else gets to have the how down or the
Yes.
what. Yeah. But that's where you get the people that are in your, like, that are part of the mission with you, that they're connected to the mission because they're going to use their skills to carry out the rest of it. Energy motivates, but charisma inspires. How do you get charisma? You get clarity on the why. That was really good.
It made me completely think of you. Miss Full of Energy has the charisma also.
I need both.
Yes.
Because he goes on to say charisma commands loyalty, but energy does not. So it could be energy in the room, but it doesn't mean you're getting loyalty. When you start with why, those who believe what you believe are drawn to you for very personal reasons. So they take it personally. Your role in the process is to be crystal clear about what purpose, cause, or belief you exist to champion and to show how your product and services help advance that cause. Yeah. So I think if we can help people find a calling bigger than themselves and people that are, well, let me say it this way. I think people need to find a calling bigger than themselves. And when you can find people that align with your calling, I think it becomes this powerful force. And testimonials are huge. I want to know your story. That's what I want to know. So what would you, if you were to give your story in a nutshell as to your why and why your mission is what is your mission? What is your mission? What is the Amy Hill mission of life? And where does that come from? What's the origin of it? I'm putting you on the spot. I did not prepare
You
you
are
for
really
this.
putting me on the spot.
So you could say, I want none of this. I don't want any conversation like this. I'll just sit out.
See, my mission in life really is I spent so much of my life as a single mom struggling that, I mean, I told myself back then that I had made it when I could go to the grocery store and buy groceries. So I feel like I've made it now. Like I can go to the grocery store and buy groceries. I don't have to think, well, I have $7 in the bank account. Like, what do I have to do to feed the kids for today? Mine is really just to be happy. Like, I don't want to overcomplicate it just about life. I want things that make me happy and make me be able to spoil those around me and love them. And that's my mission. Like, what can I do to bring me peace? That's all I want to do, is do things that make me happy and bring me peace.
Is there one thing that you do on the regular that centers you and brings you peace?
I'm a water girl. So I sit in my backyard and listen to the water under the stars, and that's how I decompress and get back in line with what I need to do. I just take my chair out, sit outside, and lay in the hammock or sit in the chair and reprocess, I guess, like how the day's going or whatever's been going on. And then I can be able to, I guess that's what fills my cup. That's my alone time to refill my cup.
So let's say you find a woman just like you, and she's a single mom, and she's literally paycheck to paycheck. She's tired and she's lonely, and she does not see an end to her circumstances. And she definitely doesn't know a way out, but she sees you, she hears your story. What do you want her to know?
Definitely think that I want her to know, like, that these circumstances don't define you. Whatever your dreams are can still be your dreams. You just have to find a different route to get to them, to not give up on them.
Thanks so much for doing this with me. This was so fun. Okay, this was amazing. I know Amy and I are going to read this again, and if you loved it, put in the comments some of your favorite things about this book, things that maybe you took away something that we missed, and we would love your feedback on the book too. Or if because of this you're going to read it, that would be fun to know too. But thanks so much for joining us today in our book series, the first one being Start With Why. How Great Leaders Inspire Everyone to Take Action by Simon Sinek. There's also a TED Talk on it. So if you're not a reader, but you still want the synopsis of it, then go watch the TED Talk, Start With Why, Simon Sinek. It's a good one. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.